I'm Alexandria Kenyon, spiritual mentor and your host of Conscious Connection, a podcast where we create space for humanness within spiritual development. Me and my When She Feels Like It co-host, Kimber Klein, are giving you a real behind-the-scenes look of what it is actually like to be on a spiritual development path. We will talk with coaches, healers, and other spiritual leaders who are making impact, as well as our clients who will share their real-life experience as they practice owning their intuitive gifts. Stick around for unfiltered conversations that may or may not poke fun at New Age spirituality, giving you permission to show up imperfectly human. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Conscious Connection, the podcast. I am here live in person today with my best friend, psychic medium, breathwork facilitator, gorgeous cherub, Peyton Hamby. You go by Powell professionally, don't you?
I don't know what I go by.
You're like, my name is Peyton.
I have no clue.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Like, literally tell everyone who you are.
I'm
scared.
They're gonna get the raw and realest version of me today.
You literally are, because we've not planned this. Peyton was like, I just want to be on the podcast. And I was like, okay, well, let's just sit in my living room and record it.
We're doing it. So I'm Peyton. What do I say about me? I'm 24. I'm a Taurus.
Yeah, tell it to everyone like as if they were gonna date you. Like, sell yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Peyton. I'm 24. I'm a Taurus. My love language is quality time, even though I don't subscribe to the love languages.
We just had the most intense conversation about love languages last night that like had the potential to get very heated, but we resolved that. Your love language is not quality time. Your love language is gifts. People, all Peyton wants, all she wants is you to get her thoughtful gifts, honestly. And then I asked her, what do you want? And last night she's sitting on my couch. She goes, I just want a pencil. Just give me
and then I started crying.
And then I realized I had gotten her a gift like 2 years ago.
She pulled it out of this drawer.
It literally survived 2 moves. That's how important this gift is. It moved from Jacksonville to Asheville and then from apartment A to this house.
Wow.
And I was like, why do I feel like this conversation's happening? Will you show everyone the gift?
She could remember to give me my gift. So
tell everybody what this gift is.
My soul animal is a swan. And so she got me a little swan ornament with a blue rose. She's gorgine. We love her.
2 years in the making.
Here, she's gonna podcast with us.
Yeah, honestly.
How do we make her?
Put her up here. Put her up here.
How do we make her
up here? Okay, cute.
There we go.
Get the tag out. I want you to take this off. Okay. So Peyton is my best friend on earth. How did we meet each other?
Trauma.
We're in a deep trauma bond.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the truth is trauma. Like, at the time, you had been following me because
we can rewind. I first followed Alex when she was a boudoir photographer, because at the time Alex was a military spouse, and I found her through like a military spouse page because I too am one. And I loved her work, and then she made her big announcement about being a medium and just switched gears on everyone completely. And I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I love it. And I think you were doing like psychic readings first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like going live and just doing psychic readings. And then she announced that she was a medium, which the whole time she was just a little nervy. But then I was her first mediumship client, and we've been best friends ever since.
Honestly, true, except for you do argue that you're like, we were never friends the first 6 months, and we went back through.
We like casually texted for a bit.
We went back through. No, we didn't text. You didn't have my phone number.
We Facebook messaged,
and we went back through the other day, remember? And you had sent me like, I don't mean to bother you.
I don't mean to bother you, but I'm going through my spiritual awakening and I'm going absolutely bonkers. Help.
Oh my God. So you were basically my client.
Yeah. You did a reading for me, like, so you did a mediumship reading, and then like fast forward 2 months, then you did like a higher self connection.
Oh,
I think you did like two
yeah.
connection type readings for me. And I was like, fuck that, you're meant to be my friend.
And so it is.
And now we are codependent queens. We cannot live our lives apart.
So
I told you they're getting the raw and real.
Okay, they're getting the raw and real. So how are we codependent? Like, okay.
Well, we're working on it. We're in recovery. So for a bit there, we were just like blocked out the rest of the world and just gave each other psychic readings every day. And it was not well.
We were basically okay. So the idea is when you awaken and you have these gifts, it's to turn inward to find your own answers. Peyton and I thought we could cheat the system by doing it for each other. So like every day we'd be like, what do you think about this? And we would just use each other's answers.
It was honestly so potent.
It honestly was a vibe. And then the universe caught on to what we were doing.
But honestly, I developed my gifts by doing that. So
Yeah.
like I appreciate it. And Alex's mom, who's on the other side, is my literal bestie. I talk to her all the time, even without Alex being present. Like she's just my girl.
People have said this, so it's weird because I feel, do I know yet? I don't know. I'm curious about the lineage because we've talked about it when I did a higher self connection for you.
Mm-hmm.
Your higher self said that we were cousins or some shit.
What?
Yeah, don't you remember this?
I would believe it.
It was like, oh, like your moms are like both, and I was like, that lands. Like
our moms are soul sisters.
They definitely are. They definitely are like pretty mirrored of each other.
So we're like best cousins ever.
We're like spiritual cousins. And so yeah, I'm curious too, because you know, as I started to activate people by just being my authentic self, I would get feedback from some of my clients. They were like, your mom was in my dream. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Lori? Lori is like my liaison on the other side, helping in the astral.
She's just out there getting shit done for you, honestly.
Out there, literally. Thanks, Laura, but stay out of my aura with your
orchestrating your best life is what she's doing.
She is. She's the best. And also, my mediumship was activated because my mom was an anchor point on the other side, and she kind of opened up that awareness. Before, I wasn't really even concerned with death.
Right.
I was more concerned about survival,
right,
as a human. And so then Lance had passed, and we both kind of had this mediumship activation at the same time.
Yeah, same thing.
It was really weird.
Yeah. And
I always make a joke. I'm like, it's funny because like I introduced you to mediumship, but then Peyton's the better medium.
No, so not true. I don't think so at all.
We just have a little fun.
We just have a little funsies. I just like being in the presence of the dead a little more than Alex, I think.
Facts. You like love it.
I love it.
I'm just like can't be bothered.
I love it. I love like just like walking somebody's whole life path with them in like 30-second span of time.
Queen.
It's just like
you're the queen of it.
Pop off. Tell me your life. Show me those pictures.
I'm more like how do I want to use my gifts? Like I thought that I wanted to. I think okay, here's what I'll say. I think that holding the space and bringing in the communication from like soul to soul is something that is there's nothing like it in the world, and it's almost like a high. And like being in the space where someone can release like their energy is the one doing it, release grief, release and come into like being able to visualize, see, experience somebody go from stuckness to acceptance in a matter of 30 seconds is like,
yeah.
Because, you know, most people will come to me and I'm sure you have helped me resolve
more
than I could have done in 5-10 years of therapy. And I'm like, yeah, because it's energetic.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's anchoring in peace. Like there's just such a like, I don't know, literally have cold chills. There's such a like it's so honorable to like do mediumship work and like just bridge the gap for people that like don't know that they can do it for themselves. Yeah, it's just magical. It's so beautiful. I love it.
So, mediumship was the way that I was able to process my mom's grief.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the way that you were able to process Lance?
It was a big piece of it. But more so for me, it was like mediumship, therapy, and breath work. Because I like to hold in my emotions even as a healer. I don't like to process things either. So I relate to people on that level of like not wanting to process things sometimes because it just takes a lot of work. And so I needed therapy and breath work to help me like fully get to that release. So yeah, mediumship was a big part of it, and like helping others through their grief like was definitely healing to me, but I had to dig down deep. And I mean, I think when you lose somebody, you're not only like grieving them no longer physically being here, but then you have to go and heal, like you have to heal all the shit that happened in your life with that person and come to a level of forgiveness for them and for yourself, and ultimately get to like a place of freedom. So
Yeah.
I did that. But then you have to like process it again and again.
It's just grief is not linear. When it comes to the process of grief, we can be so linear as human beings. Resolve, done, check the gate, print, like moving on. I'm on the plane has landed, it's done forever. That's not how grief works. Grief is a process where, I have all of this expertise and knowledge in emotional alchemy, and I still go through moments where I'm like, this is just like so much. I remember you sent me a TikTok one time.
The queen of TikTok.
She sends me a TikTok, and it was like one of those TikToks, and it was like, your loved one on the other side is like with the cards with the sunflowers, and it was like so resonant. My mom, there it is, it's always here. My mom passed in November of 2018, and it was at her 1 year anniversary, and it was like really close, and I remember getting that and sobbing for like 3 hours. Where I see people get stuck with grief is they don't allow themselves to have the emotional response.
Right.
They're like, I should be over this. They shame themselves.
Right.
They don't let the body release. And so for me, what I teach my clients by embodying it myself is that when the moment comes, it's not holding it in.
Right.
I don't think we should hold anything in. Not tears, not farts, not burps. Holding things in is not good for our health.
Nothing.
It's not holding our breath. Like, if we're holding, we're stuck. And so when those big moments come up, I first, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'll avoid it for a little bit sometimes though. Like, let's
we all do. We want that control.
But as I dive in and feel it, I realize that when it's my pain, it's cathartic. When I'm crying and it's a good sob, it's cathartic for me. When it's something else, it's not mine, it's an energy of my family's or an energy of a projection or whatever, I can't seem to move it. And that's sometimes when I need a little bit of external help from like my energy coach or going into deep meditation. But yeah, so like what I'm hearing from you is that you have sometimes a difficult time dropping into that emotional space.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't have time for it. I'm conditioned.
Tell us more about this.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
Why?
I hate
no.
it.
I don't hate it.
I mean, it's just like I gave myself the spaciousness to grieve and like really went into that journey and process. And then even though I know that it's a lifelong thing, it's like I came out the other side of like, I think the first 3 years are like the hardest after losing a loved one. And so I came out the other side of that. And so now I'm like, oh, life must continue, and just like put this almost like switched hats and put this different hat on of like, I have to get back to the way things were before, which was busy, 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 not doing anything, which I know is just so gross and disgusting because I need to feel and make time for it, but it's just all about creating the space. And it's hard when we live in this capitalistic world that's like work, 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 get done what you need to get done, and then you can deal with it later, which is just so counterintuitive as a healer. But I have another line of work too, which is sometimes takes away from me healing myself, which is the ultimate goal here.
Yeah, so what it really comes down to is resources, money. You know,
Money.
Though we can have our feelings about capitalism, we still live in this society that is changing every single day, but we got to get pretty comfy with the way it is at this moment, right? And it can be really challenging when you're in that survival energy of I have to make money, I have to make money, I have to make money. So, of course, when your pain comes up to say, process me, slow down, it's contradicting this idea of like, I can't slow down until I've reached a point where I've had where I feel safe to slow down. But I'm going to just let you know you'll never feel safe to slow down.
I know.
Ever. Like, you're not going to feel safe until you prioritize that slowing down. And something that I've learned through so much time and energy teaching and learning is like, when we slow down, I'll give you an example. I was in class and there was this one woman who was like frantic. She's like, I didn't know what's going on in my day. Like, just like hearing her talk, I was like, wow, okay. I just had so much going on in my day and I don't know how to how do I even make space for meditation? I analyze our brain, like analytical energy. And I remember my teacher was like, what's interesting? If we give ourselves 10 minutes to drop into meditation, half of those problems get fixed. Half of our hustle, our energy gets fixed because we have the clarity after we meditate to like what our next step is. Because we're so erratic. We're like, okay, we have this step, we're all over the place. When we come inward and we like listen to ourselves, then we're like, we have clarity. So we become more efficient. So it's kind of like this paradox of like, I'm going to keep going. But it's like, actually, if you slow down quantumly and started to heal some of the parts of your day, this is what I do in energy work. I'll see my day and I'll start to clear parts of it that I don't need to manifest physically. And then like everything gets resolved. Meetings that I don't have to do get canceled. I'm like, and that's our power. But when it comes to, first of all, you're passionate, you're a generator, like you're meant to do work here.
I was about to say another big factor in that is like just me wanting to do it all.
I know.
Like I have the drive and willingness to like want to do everything that I desire to do. So that's like a big part of it too, is just like, I'm just going to do it because I want to do it and do all these things. But then it's just like, part of that is doing the deep work and healing things.
I feel like I just want to say, like, it doesn't make you any less of a healer if you're in a space to where you're action oriented.
Right.
We go through these, we talked about this thing on the patio, spiritual progressions.
Where I feel like I am now, but have the understanding that this is just a phase of life that I'm going through and a huge transitional phase of life right now. So like having the higher understanding that things are not going to be like this forever, but also I need to take the initiative to anchor in my energy now.
Yeah.
So
what's coming up for you? Like, what's calling to you?
Oh gosh, just like, I always make time for some kind of physical movement, but I don't make as much time for stillness. So I'm always going to yoga or walking or doing something. But when it comes time to like meditate, that's like harder for me to like put that on my schedule and like make it happen for myself, because I'm like, well, I'll just rest when I'm sleeping. But it's so much deeper than that. Meditation is not even rest, truly. It's an energy activation. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, but again, I'm keeping in that momentum of moving and fighting the stillness. So it's like getting more comfortable in that and like inviting that in. I feel like I go through phases with it too, because I'm much more comfortable with it in the winter than I am in the summer. So like right now I'm like, no way am I slowing down. So
I definitely get that. I mean, we're women. We have a hormone cycle too. So you might even feel this way based on where you're at in your hormone
week
cycle.
to week. Yeah.
Right? Like I'm about to bleed. So I'm like, oh, slowing down is yummy. Like I don't want to talk to anyone, right? But I get it, we're in peak fertility season via the summer. Ooh, throat crack. So I can understand and resonate with that. And yeah, maybe what works for you is probably different for everyone else, but this is when I talk about discipline, but not discipline in a way where we're punishing ourselves. So let's talk about it as devotion.
Right.
Devotion. I right now am in an intuitive training program where we run our energy like every fucking day. I'm realizing that as I've done this now for almost 6 months, it's so hard to like live my day without running my energy. I'm like, now it's becoming ingrained. So sometimes we need someone to hold the structure for us until we can like get into that devotional practice. And that stillness is really hard for me too. You're not alone in that. I need it.
Yeah.
I think it's, I mean, for me, I think it's because I know that I can shift so much when I get into that space that like everything in my body that doesn't want to be moved is fighting against that. It's like this resistance of like trusting myself. It's like, okay, because I was talking with my own mentor, she's like, yeah, the second you get behind your eyes, like nothing can control you. And I'm like, pretty much like,
yeah.
But we don't want to get behind our eyes. We don't want to get there because we're like, oh, like, how is this going to affect or change my life or create transformation or where am I going to have to take responsibility for myself?
Yeah.
Oh no, the dreaded responsibility of self. Fuck my life. Yeah, and that's really, really, really challenging. So I hear you. You're in a season of like, okay, I'm working, especially because you're a photographer, right?
Yeah.
Like this is like peak wedding season. Yes. So it's like, there's this kind of like, you're matching that energy of like, okay, we work. And then winters. I was in it too. I remember I took all the winters off, right? Like I had 2 months of rest.
I have nothing planned for this winter.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe you can push it aside, but it's also maybe it could look like chipping a little bit at a time.
Which
so
I feel like I do with
breath and yoga.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess it's just like even in the spiritual world, there's a stigma around like not being in a constant state of like healing.
Fuck the healing TM journey. I'm sorry. I'm so done with it. We're not, that is the same match as the hustle culture of business.
Right.
It's a match. Do you not see you have a match? Like,
once again, we got a shield.
Don't come for me, entities, about this. When we get into that motion of we're always healing, there's always something to excavate, we stop. It takes us out of self-acceptance of being present and is perpetuating this idea that we're not whole.
Right.
There are things, okay, so my real life will bring up everything I need to know about what I need to heal. I don't constantly need to be searching it out until I hit something that I feel like I can't process alone. I have enough tools. That usually only happens every so often. As I start to gain the confidence to use the processes that I use. First of all, just gain the confidence to feel my own feelings. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Because we as women have been told our feelings make us crazy. We like there's such a stigma around feeling our feelings. So of course we don't want to feel them. We're like, oh my God, we'll be left or condemned or whatever that feeling, or controlled, or our feelings will hurt other people.
It's a big one.
We got to feel them. What are you feeling right now?
Like I want to laugh. That's my first step is laughter.
Well,
laughter is my conduit to feeling.
amusement is so key, like when it comes to being able to shift really big energies in your life. Like if I can find something to laugh about, it kind of like just gets it out a little bit quicker. It's kind of like the magic eraser of like pain. If we can make fun of ourselves and like laugh,
and that's what
at
I
it,
do. It's just like, it's so comical because this earth is just like not that serious ever.
I take it so seriously.
That is like my biggest, I think that's a huge chunk of medicine I try to share with others.
Throat chakra.
Is that life is just not that serious.
I literally think everyone needs that, and it's probably so fucking triggering for people.
Yeah, because
it was triggering for me in the beginning when you're like, why aren't you laughing? I was like, because I am so deeply enmeshed in my pain story that I only can cry. Now I'm like,
I laugh until I cry, and then I cry, and then I scream, and then everything's better.
Our relationship that I'm like reading the energy of it now, it's really balanced because it comes to like, you bring such lightness of like, this is amusing, this is funny, it's not that serious. And I bring like, okay, it's time to cry, it's time to process, it's okay, and it's safe. And so
we're polar opposites.
We literally just bring each other into these frequencies, and it's nice.
It is. It's beautiful to like have those friends. And I was about to laugh a second ago when you were talking about like coming to the place of feeling things for yourself, because I was thinking about us on like just a friendship level, how we like run everything by each other. And it's not like we're searching for permission. It's just like we just love and value each other so much that we have to like talk through everything.
Literally my sounding board. Same. Like it's I think we've come to a space where we're pretty neutral and we're not giving opinions.
Right.
We're just listening.
Right.
We both are just like basically each other's therapists. And I think that, it's beautiful to have professional help because there's like a neutrality that comes to that. But I have a best friend I can literally call. And I'm like, am I being out of hand right now? And you're like, yes. And I'm like, sick. Do we love it?
We only get sassy when it's necessary.
Our relationship is really symbiotic. And so I remember we had this like moment. I think I pulled like a codependency card between us. And I was like, we have to not talk right now. I have to process this. I don't know how to deal with this. And I realized, we're building a really healthy interdependence because we have boundaries and we're not trying to like,
we've totally transformed from the beginning of our friendship to now.
Codependency is such a charged buzzword right now.
Yeah.
And so just to give us like a little bit of background, I can speak about this, but I was really enmeshed with my mom. So like that codependency was very normal. So meeting someone who had like a similar like relationship style, we've come a long way to being like, because we were enmeshing in a way of like spirituality of like, tell me my answers, which is how I've learned so deeply with my like, you do not, nobody has your answers.
No one but you.
No one but you. And it's nice to have a sounding board so you can feel, right? Like, as I say things out loud or like have someone to mirror you back. That's delicious.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
Glorious.
But we spent a couple years ago, we spent a good 6 months just like, what do I do? Here's what you do. I'm going to channel your higher self. And I was like, what do you do? You're like, I'll channel yours. And we were like, the funny part is like, we both had connections to our higher selves. We could have easily just been like, what do I do? But we weren't listening.
I love like the level of just human friendship we have now. Like it started off so like spiritually charged, and now we're just like, I don't know. It's just so human. Like
it literally is though.
Yeah.
We're just babies.
I love it.
On the planet, we're like, this earth is so hard.
We're crying. I think one of the most healing parts of my relationship to myself, but what's been mirrored in our friendship is like, no one can tell you things about yourself that you don't already know. Which I know we just kind of said this in a different way earlier, but I can read my own energy. And then, I don't know, by healing that in myself, it has made me like a deeper healer and like more empathetic towards others and just able to meet people where they're at. Because if you're not meeting yourself where you're at, like right now, I know I'm in this life of busyness, and things are moving a little quicker than maybe what my soul would desire for them to, but it's brought in clients that are matching my energy. Their life is moving quick. They're making quick decisions. They just need to anchor in that grounded feeling of like, okay, let me ground in, do my best to make this decision from a higher place and keep moving. Because there are so many people that are in that place. And I think, you know, it's beautiful when you can recognize things in yourself and use them to help others, which is often what we're doing in our friendship all the time.
And just life. Everything we go through, cycles. Not everything is meant to be the slow, nourishing inward winter. On my birthday, I did a little picnic in my front yard, and I pulled a little rose card for everyone. And I didn't see any of them, but I picked my card and I pulled inner winter. And I was so mad because I was like, it's Leo season. Like, this is not a winter. And I literally went through winter in the summer. It has been the weirdest thing I've experienced. And yeah, being able to make decisions with your own inner authority, even when things are busy, is such a skill. Even when there's chaos around you, like being the stillness within the chaos is vital. And that's why I teach fucking human design. Literally, how to like make a decision based on your energy. Because when it comes to like coming into your sovereignty or your most authentic iteration of self, it starts really subtly. Like, look at our journey. We're like, okay, now we found people who can understand us and like who speak our soul language. Let's get our answers. And we're still going outside of ourselves. And we're still going outside of ourselves. And the universe always just kind of like pushing us back, like kindergartners, like, okay, time for you to do this like with yourself and stand in your own power, stand in your own power. And thank God we got a gentle lesson on that.
I know.
But it doesn't mean that you can't be supported. And so, so many lessons of growth for us. So much, but like in pretty gentle ways, in loving ways.
Yeah. For the most part.
My relationship with you has been gentle.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone else, but no.
I don't know what's next on our little journey here.
Oh, Peyton and I are going to be doing a reading room space. So
we had the most beautiful reading room spaces together during the pandemic, and it's so lovely to be read by two humans and not just one, because our perspective, the way we connect, it's just so different. And like, we both provide such beautiful like perspectives. And I'm mainly in the reading rooms, I'm mainly bringing in loved ones. She's mainly doing like higher self connections and just clarity work. It's just so much fun.
It is a very yummy time, and we had so much fun doing them. They're like 15-minute like little mini readings and kind of little activations, and you can come with, let's say, 2 questions, and we'll answer those questions. And we're gonna do that once a month, I think. Yeah, I like that idea. And it's really fun because you get 2 channels, right? And you know, with every psychic I've ever encountered, even the psychics in my training program, like every single reader is going to have their own unique perspective. We're reading through our own language. And so I think that that's really, really cool to have 2 different perspectives as well, which usually match up in their own really cool way, because your higher self is the one bringing in the messages. So we're going to be doing those. When are we going to do it? Should we just book it right here on the podcast?
Oh my gosh.
I've definitely cried in readings. I've definitely cried. You know, when I first opened my gifts, things were coming. I was reading through my sacral center, which is the emotional center. And so these gifts, they would speak to me through emotions. I'd be like, oh my God, your loved one is so excited and happy. I'd feel the whole emotion in my body, or I'd feel the whole sadness, or I'd feel the pain. And so now I don't do that. Thank God. Because it was really it was affecting me deeply. It was like hurting my body. You know, when you're channeling something else that's not your energy, it's like putting the wrong gasoline in your car. It doesn't feel good. You want your energy running so that your system can feel Nice and yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, so Alex had not talked to me for a couple days. That's the context behind what she's about to read. I left her a voicemail.
Most of you know who listen to this podcast, I'm a manifestor in human design, which means I need to inform. Peyton is a generator, which means she responds. So she felt my aura pull back and go into hermit mode, which honestly I did inform. My Instagram said hermiting.
I'm not always on the gram.
It's like, get so many people are so concerned. I love you so much. And then it says you're trying, but I'm pretty sure you said
Wait,
I'm crying.
can you listen to it?
Okay,
Play
wait.
it for the podcast.
Okay, let me play it for the podcast of what my life is like as Peyton with my best friend, which honestly I'm obsessed with.
Are you on a sabbatical? What are you doing, Tuna? I'm trying to make our plans for tomorrow. First have a beautiful day. Call me back. I love you. I hope you're okay. You know I'm always here for you, but if something's going on, you better tell me. I love you so much. Bye.
I went through all the emotions I had in that message right there. You better tell me.
Tell me.
I have to know.
Even as psychic as you are, you can't read my aura. You're
I'm like, don't ignore me, Chuny.
like, all right.
You
Yeah.
weren't ignoring me, but I just needed the plans to be made. I'm
I
a
know.
planner.
I thought they had been made. I was like,
They
okay,
had.
see you.
I was confirming.
I was like, when are we doing this? See you on Wednesday. Bye. And you were like, I've added extra dates. And I was like, cool.
I'm coming for more.
You know, I literally don't care. I'm not the person who cares. Like, except for I do have a rule. 5 days is my max. That's my, like, that's when I'm like, my hermit line just, like, that's when all my fights start happening is like at that 5 day.
I only come for 3.
She comes for 3. We're done. I know my truth.
And then we talk on the phone every day.
And then we talk on the phone every day because
That's
our
fine.
auras aren't meshing.
Thank you for listening to Conscious Connection, the podcast. We want to remind you that any statements or opinions shared on this podcast are from our own experiences or that of our guests, and we invite you to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you love our show and want to connect with us further, please reach out through our website or Instagram linked in the show notes. We're excited to announce our group program Metamorphosis will be launching in the fall. To learn more, please go to alexandriakenyon.com/metamorphosis. See you next time.